I guess what I want to point out here is that my paint, the dry paint, is up here where it's been sitting. You just leave it like that when you're done. That's the fun thing about watercolor. And then you touch the paint and you run it down into the well of water. Let's see. I'll just use my rag here real quick. See how nice dark. So you just wet it up first. Okay, here, put this back in. I don't have to move this around when I'm painting. I just rinse, wipe, rinse, rinse, wipe. Now back to the distilled water that you're going to add. Okay. Now, also you'll see on the yellow here. Okay, so I rinse my brush, double rinse it, put it in the distilled water before I touch any of these. Ooh, this one's like super. Now, this is super saturated, and it's because the paint has actually run down into the well. So every time you put water in it, you're going to get a super saturate, which is fine for mixing. Okay, now I want to do these buildings here with the light that they were a few moments ago. And I'm going to do it in layers, so it's going to dry between layers. So, okay, I rinsed it. Look how dirty this water's getting, or how colorful. Okay, so that was rinsed just now. Rinse, rinse. And that's how you keep your watercolors clean, is you don't put dirty water in them. And you keep your brush clean. Every time you move from one color to another, you rinse it and then put your distilled back on it. This is just a very simple little thing. Okay, now you notice this brush is bigger than what you see most people. You see people on YouTube. With a little bitty brush here. Oh, even littler than that. Yeah. Yeah. Chicken scratching away here. Choking their brush and chicken scratching away. Don't do that. It's a bigger brush than you need. It's watercolor, and you want your water and your color up in here so you don't run out. So, these are kind of, I'm going to try matching the color that I think they are. You hear me rinsing? Okay. With some ochre. It's a little bit of dirt in there, so you take that out if that's what it is. All right, a little bit of ochre and a touch of a pink. So, three rinses. Wipe, wipe. Okay, and a touch of a pink. I could actually put my brush in after I've wiped it. I'm going to touch this, I think. Now, this is still a pretty intense color here. Well, this is a pretty good demonstration. It's so tiny, but that's all right. That looks about like the color I want. It's a pretty intense color because I've got the color down into the water, so it's going to come out. And then the colors that you use, you're actually using from your palette. It's got a little bit of green in there. Well, I'm not going to do that. I don't want any green in it at all. So I'm going to try it right here, I guess. A little bit of this cadmium yellow. A little bit of my yellow ochre. See how nice that is? You can give yourself just the right kind of liquid paint that you need. And then you've got your water to thin it out if you need to do that. I am going to use some of this to make it that pinky color. Pinky yellow. All right, there it is. That's what I want. Maybe a little bit more yellow. And now water. Now I am holding my brush kind of close up. But you see the size of the brush? It's a good brush. It holds a point. You don't have to use a little brush and chicken scratch away. And this way you get a nice... And then I'm going to pick up the extra water. I just wiped this off on my little paint rag. I think that's off the camera. So I just wiped it on here, picked up the extra water, let that dry, and then put the darks in. And I have all of my little models to do that, my sketches, so I can keep track of what color. I think I'm going to remember because I've done all of those, so I can do this now. And okay, here's how far away I'm holding my brush. Right now, I'm just standing from a distance and I see that's a little dark. I'm just going to move that up there instead. Now, I need to wait for that to dry because I want to make this dark there and that only slightly darker there, and then leave that a gray. Okay, let me, I'll go get a sketch and put it next to it so you can see, because these sketches are I think the arrangement of the houses, of these boxes, is like this here. It's actually, this is supposed to be lighter, but that's what I'm doing right there. And you see how small it is, but I just needed some definition because I didn't know what they were. You know, they don't have to look exactly like what they are, but they have to look like something. So oh no, it looks like the orientation on this switched. So disappointing. Oh well. I think I can still rotate it. This is 11 minutes. This is too much. But anyway, that's that, and it's something I've been wanting to do, which is demonstrate working with a larger brush, not choking your brush. Okay. This part's supposed to be back here, pretty much like a pencil, but you don't use it like a pencil. A Chinese brush, you're supposed to use this way, up and down, holding it like this. And if you want to be really good at it, you can hold an egg inside here without breaking it while you do your calligraphy. Yes. All right. This is informative, but it's sideways, so I don't know what this is going to look like. Thank you for watching. And these are one-shot deals. It's like there's no doing this over. But I'm going to leave it right where it is, and I will come back. I'm just going to... Can I put this on pause? I can. While I'm waiting for that to dry, and I've got a bunch of this yellow real bright here, I'm going to work a little bit on this bush. And again, I don't want to be digging paint out of there. I do want it fairly strong because I'm highlighting, and it's something that's rather difficult to do in watercolor. You usually have to leave your highlights out, but if it's yellow, it floats on top naturally. I've mentioned this before. It's one of the coarser ground colors because, well, it just is. And because it's one of the coarser ground colors, it floats on top. Whereas the colors that are finely ground, it's just by their nature, sink in more. So the reason I'm working on getting these houses just right is that if it is a shading from a different time of day, it doesn't look right. It's jarring on a subliminal level. And if you own a painting that is jarring on a subliminal level, sooner or later it's going to start bugging you, or you're going to stop looking at it. I don't want that to happen with any of my paintings. My paintings are really meant to be enjoyed for a long time, quietly, kind of on a personal level maybe, or just where you see it a lot, and every time you see it, you see something new. Or you see something you forgot was in there. So there's a lot to discover in this little painting. Well, okay, I need to go back in with some darks too, but that's okay. That gives that something. And then, let's see, these trees down here. Where's my Hooker's green? Hooker's green is up here. You can't see it. I'll bring it down though. This is worth looking at. Where is it? Right here? Okay. This is a little bit left in here, and I'm still using that. This stuff is so strong. This was broken up into little pieces when I put it in the stacking palette here. And some of them were on my apron or on my clothes. And where they fell off, it fell off on linoleum in the bathroom, and they dyed it right away. I got it out, but it's just incredibly strong pigment. And that's why they're called watercolors. They need a lot of water. Okay, so my Hooker's green. Oh no. And it takes a little longer to saturate the water, oddly enough. Well, I also didn't put water on it when I sat down. And we'll drag it back down. See, that is just not very dark yet. I'm getting a little impatient. Shouldn't be impatient with watercolor. Okay, let's see. I did get those into one of those drawings too, didn't I? Which one? All right, there are two of them. I see where their trunks are. All right, one trunk is there, and the other trunk is over here. Oh, and it comes all the way up to here. So I need to paint these first. Finish painting these houses back here before I can put my tree in, because this thing here is right about there. It's going to be in front of them, and then these palm trees come up in front of that. Oh, I gotta wait on that. Okay. I don't want to spoil this because there's so much nice spontaneous stuff on it. I just really love the way the horizon worked for me there. Plus, I'm enjoying bending the horizon a little bit. Slowly, slowly. So, those feel dry. I'm not sure that they are, but okay. Now I'm going to switch down to a smaller brush. Stage 1 and 2, this size. How big it is in relation to my hand. Okay. 3 and 4. No. Yeah. 3 and 4, this size. 4 and 5, this size, and here's my detail brush. And this one I do hold a little closer. These are special detail brushes that I use, the Chinese ones. This is a smaller piece of bamboo holding the sable and inside of another small bamboo. Because the Western brushes are narrower and wider and narrower, and because of an accident to my hand a long time ago, the small ones, when I'm working with them, will just roll right out of my hand, but this one won't. These ones won't, so I can get a small detail and have control. Because when the brushes rolled out of my hands, I cried. So my painting means a lot to me.